The Paleolithic diet, or Paleo diet for short, is based on the theory that we should eat what our ancestors ate. Nuts, grass-fed meat, fish and vegetables are just a few examples. Our next guest discovered the benefits of the paleo diet for herself, and then as a Santa Cruz chef and nutritional blog junkie, she wrote the Paleo Foodie Cookbook. Please welcome Arsy Vartanian. Hi, Arsy.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So I kind of described what the paleo diet was about, but that's too simplistic. I mean, what is it really?
Yeah, just to add a little more to what you said, the paleo diet is really focused on eating whole, unprocessed foods. So like you said, grass-fed meats, fish, poultry, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, but it's also a low toxin, anti-inflammatory diet. So that's why so many people experience such great health benefits from it.
And one of the things that we just talked about was the fact that when you put paleo with the word diet, anything with the word diet, people think it's all about weight loss.
Yes.
But this isn't really about weight loss. It's actually a different way of eating.
Exactly. Yeah, it's more of a lifestyle, and weight loss ends up being more of a side effect of eating this way. So a lot of people really use it for general health or even curing ailments like autoimmune disease or diabetes.
Okay, so, and one of the big questions I need to ask you, when you say grass-fed beef, of course, that's kind of difficult to find. Organic everything, right?
Yes.
Organic fruits and vegetables, everything that you work with. Now, that's not cheap, right? So
Yes.
what do you tell people when they say, well, I can't afford to be on the paleo diet?
Yes, and that's very true. It is more expensive than our standard American diet. What I tell people is start out doing the best you can do. So if you can't buy everything organic, that's okay. Try to make the best choices you can make, and as your budget increases, make better choices. But also, there are ways to save money, like buying directly from local ranchers is a great way to buy grass-fed meat. It's much more cost-effective. So, and then joining things like vegetable CSAs, especially in the Bay Area, we're so lucky to have so many fresh farms.
What's a vegetable CSA?
So vegetable CSAs, you kind of buy into the farm, and every week you get a box of random vegetables, and it's really affordable. It's much cheaper than shopping at a health food store. So those are, so there's some ways to cut costs, but I just tell people start where you can.
And there's a reason that you got into this. And you were not feeling well.
No.
And you were going to doctors, and they were giving you some very grave medical news.
Yes, all through, it started when I was in college, and I would get really extreme headaches, a really bad foggy head. I felt really lethargic. I mean, I was in my 20s feeling like I was in my 80s. I just felt terrible, and I saw countless doctors looking for answers, and they weren't able to provide one. The common the more modern way of doing things was giving me MRIs and checking for brain tumors.
Wow.
And really it all just turned out that it was dietary for me, because when I started CrossFit, I discovered the paleo diet. And I said I'll try it for a month, and my headaches went away. I had more energy than I'd ever had. I felt clear-headed. I really just felt great after that. So for me, it was like, I knew there was no other way. This was gonna be my new way of life.
All right, well, you're gonna do a demo for us of one of the recipes from your cookbook, right? It's called, it's hummus.
Yes, it's spicy parsnip hummus.
But the surprise ingredient is
parsnips.
Right, so why don't we go ahead and start?
Sure, yeah. So parsnips make a great substitute for beans in hummus, since beans aren't part of a paleo diet. They have a nice mild flavor. But so I'm gonna add some parsnips to the food processor here, and I have 2 cups of parsnips here cooked. So that's about 3 cups uncooked. So you want to peel them, chop them, bring some water, salted water to a boil, then add your parsnips and cook them for about 15 minutes until they're fork tender.
Why aren't beans part of the paleo diet?
A lot of people experience a lot of bloating, constipation, stomach issues. So yeah, so that's all, we're trying to reduce those things in the paleo diet. So if you can't find parsnips, because we are towards the end of parsnip season, cauliflower is also a good substitute for this.
And what is that you're adding?
This is a half a cup of organic tahini. And tahini is a sesame seed paste.
And where did you get that from?
You could find this at any health food store. Okay. And so now I'm gonna add some olive oil. So I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons. That's what the recipe calls for. But depending on your food processor, you might have to add a little more to get it nice and creamy hummus consistency. But I'll start with the 2 tablespoons. And then I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Okay.
And then about 4 cloves of garlic. So I like to make a really garlicky hummus. That's the hummus I grew up with. So I tried to replicate my mom's recipe the best I could. And she said this was unbelievably close.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add some salt, and I like to add this half a teaspoon of salt, but you could adjust your salt too accordingly.
Okay.
If you want it to be a little more salty. And then I'm gonna also add a teaspoon of crushed red pepper just to give it some kick. So if you don't like spicy, you could leave that out.
Okay.
So yeah, so we have everything there. So now I'm just gonna turn this on and I'm gonna puree it until it's smooth. So.
That's gonna make quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, it really makes a good amount. I mean, it's great for a party appetizer. So this didn't get quite creamy enough, so I'm just gonna drizzle in a little more olive oil.
Now, did you ever train for this? I know you said you're a food blog junkie. Is that how you got trained and inspired to write a food cookbook?
Well, you know, I grew up in the kitchen. I'm Armenian, so I grew up watching my mom and grandma, and I always loved cooking. I just felt best in the kitchen. So once I discovered the paleo diet, I just got really much more inspired, and I started spending all my free time really teaching myself by watching videos and trying recipes.
Okay.
There we go. That looks about right.
Yeah, and we're running out of time, so we want to make sure that we get to sample this.
Yes, so let me just scoop some in here for you to sample.
Okay. And that's it, huh?
That's it. It's really easy. You know, it's just, yeah, the paleo diet doesn't have to be complicated.
And that's one of the things I noticed in Arsy's book, the Paleo Foodie Cookbook, which we have here. There's just a whole bunch of recipes. It's not just about dips.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all manner of stuff. Can you give people an idea while I try this?
Sure, yeah. You know, what I really want to do with this cookbook is I wanted to show people that nourishing, healthy food is also delicious and satisfying. A lot of these meals are ones I've cooked for friends and family, and they always leave my house saying, if this is paleo, I'm in. So there's great recipes in there. Lamb chops with mint pesto, braised short ribs, carrot and red pepper puree, are just some of my favorites.
This is delicious.
Oh, it is?
Really.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And introducing the paleo cooking to us. And if you want to try cooking the paleo way yourself, log on to Arsy's website, rubiesandradishes.com. On there, you'll find paleo tips and tricks you can live by, and you can order the Paleo Foodie Cookbook from there as well. That's all we have for today. Of course, all guest information from today's show can be found on our website at KTVU.com. Go to the KTVU TV 36 menu tab and look for community. And please join us on Facebook for a look behind the scenes of Bay Area people. Thanks for joining us this morning. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Bay Area People.